That's awesome.
We are live on Facebook.
Hello.
Welcome, Dr. Brookh and Tori Lyons. Thanks, you guys, for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, what an honor.
This is awesome. Awesome. And for all of you live and on the replay, thanks, you guys, for being a part of this Seeds Storyteller Series. It's a special kind of focus and digging into people who are making a difference and living their lives, looking to do what they can to bring a bit of light in the dark, challenging times that we're in right now in the corona crisis. And these two sisters are doing just that in their families, in their community, and in our world. And I'm so excited for you to hear this mama-daughter share a bit about their own stories and their families' lives. And our hope is that as you hear their story, you just feel a spring in your step and a bit of kind of next steps in your life, because these are not easy days for most people. And so we want you to find a bit of hope in whatever is going on in your world today. So this conversation is going to last about 45 minutes, and you can expect some tangible kind of nudges for how Brookh and Tori are making their way together, and some beautiful stories from some wise sisters of mine. And then we're going to end our time with a soulful place of pause, just to catch our breath in the storm. And we're going to do that together. So you guys, thank you so much for being a part.
Glad to be here. Glad to be a part of this. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and where are you coming to us from?
Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Yes,
Wow.
from Green Bay. And
you guys have had some big news there, holy moly, in the last 24 hours with voting and
it's nonstop. You know, one thing that I think the biggest takeaway from all of this experience is that even though some things feel like they're no-brainers, like, oh, well, we'll finish the school year, and oh, we'll go vote, we'll do the things that we normally do. It's
changing.
It changes. It can change just like that. And all of our life is always preparing for these moments, because this is when we see, do we have the tools? Do we have the toilet paper? do we have the things that we need to navigate changing times successfully, right? And I think that's what we're kind of learning together as well.
Yeah. Well, Tori, you are a senior in high school.
Yeah.
And when we first set this on our calendars, the three of us, one of your big dreams that you talked about and something that was giving you hope was imagining yourself walking on the stage to collect your diploma, like physically with your teachers and your friends. And was it Monday?
Monday.
Yeah. You just heard that school, as is happening many places in the world, is not on for the rest of the school year. So first of all, I'm so sorry.
Thank you.
And second of all, will you share a little bit about how you are doing and how you are making your way in these moments?
Strange times, right?
Well,
different.
There has been crying. I'm not gonna lie.
Mm-hmm.
There's definitely still, no matter how graduation goes, we don't have any word of whether I'll be walking a stage or not, or doing it electronically.
Yeah.
But now graduation speaker auditions are on the April 27th, and so I've started to write my graduation speech, and I cried a little bit during that, because just thinking about all the things that my class has overcome, and how our quote this year is 2020, a class with a vision. And we do have a vision, and the coronavirus is changing that vision, but we're still strong together. Yeah. So, and with school being canceled, that means that my senior ball will be postponed or canceled, and a bunch of seniors and my friends and me already have our dresses. Mm-hmm. We already had all of our things planned out that we wanted to do, so that's being changed this past weekend. I'm not in any sports. I took the music path in high school.
Yep.
So we have this, I'm in show choir, and we have this thing called cabaret, which is our last performance, which we do all these different skits during it. And then at the very end, we do our competition set. And between Rendezvous and Center Stage, our all girls group and our co-ed group, which I'm in Center Stage, we do our senior song. And that's something I've been looking forward to since 4th grade. And that won't happen this year.
It's a special thing because they collect their photo from when they were little kids and they put up their words, and it's just a special thing for the seniors.
And we get to choose a song. And so this song, it was the Breakfast Club theme song is the song we were gonna do. So
right?
It's a time where we all get to sit on stage in front of our peers and our community members and our families and just hold each other and realize that this is the last time we'll be performing together.
And cry,
So, yeah.
that's what they do.
And so all
the
of us are
memories.
looking at our last
right?
our last
She's got it too.
our last competition and thinking that we didn't know that was going to be our last performing together, which is sad because I've been performing with these girls and guys since freshman year. So it was just a little too soon to say goodbye.
Yeah. Honey, I'm sorry.
Mhm.
So Tori, how, as you have heard like this most, because there's been obviously these rolling kind of pieces of news of, wow, life is different again, and now this expectation isn't happening and this plan isn't happening. So with this last piece, how are you making it through, and how do you notice your friends are making it through with tears, but with I know you, so with hope and looking to make your way with your friends? Like, what are a couple things that are part of how you're making your way?
Well, memes are a big part of definitely my generation. Just my generation, our way to get through things is memes and making jokes about it. So there's been jokes about the class of 2019 have made towards us saying, you guys, you're not going to have like post pictures of you in your cap and gown. Let's confuse the class of 2020, which I think is pretty funny. Also, something that me and my friends, the Friends logo, I made t-shirts and we're selling them with all my friends. So that, sorry. So they little say the seniors and then they say the one with the pandemic. So that's something that I've been making and
Friends
selling,
epidemic,
which is bringing a little happiness and like.
Okay,
funny.
I want to make sure. So you designed and created this t-shirt you just held up.
I saw the inspiration was a t-shirt that someone made, like was joking around like, oh my gosh, what if someone made these? And I was like, what if I made those? And so then I set it up. My entire kitchen counter and the kitchen table
and the guest room
were covered in t-shirts. I had my mom was so helpful and helped me. We had a couple arguments as parents do with their kids when you're trying to get things done, but in the end she was a really big help to the whole process, and she didn't yell at me for messing up her kitchen, so that was a plus.
we gotta try new things, but you know, the thing about being in close quarters all the time is that especially with a child who's really an adult, right? She's 18, she's ready to fly. Is that I've been around on the planet and with different experiences, and arts and crafts and is my thing. So I was like, why wouldn't you use the Cricut and use some contact paper and just flip it off like that? Because she was doing each one by hand. She's like, no, that's not the way of doing it. So, but it was a dialogue, a conversation. And I think that the blessings that are coming out of this pandemic are the moments that we get to kind of have a connection, even if it's, I got this, Mom, and but there's an easier way just in case you want that. And in the end, she's like, okay, help, because I got shirts all over the house.
Right.
And so, that's been a real positive, I think. Also, part of her mindset has always been like things change. Because our life has been very busy with a lot of traveling, a lot of different things. She knows that sometimes she doesn't make birthday parties because we're flying somewhere. And I think that we don't know how we're preparing our kids every day. We sometimes even demean ourselves like, oh, I'm so sorry to make that birthday party, but we're flying to wherever we're going. And instead, I hope that we start to say, life is like this, change happens, because my kids really aren't having a lot of problems, honestly. The loss is hard with the graduating and stuff like that, but this homeschooling is going great. Everything is going well because they have really that's been their whole life, really.
And like the online school isn't like it. I'm very extroverted, so the fact that I'm not with my peers and with my teachers and my friends sucks. Very much
yay
sucks.
Zoom. Yay Zoom.
FaceTimes, Netflix party, all these different things that we can still connect, but it's not the same. It's not the same as touching a person.
Right.
And
how you touches me.
No, it's not.
No.
And at the end of the day, it sucks. We're gonna get through it. I mean, we're still gonna experience our freshman year of college. We're still gonna be, hopefully, fingers crossed, that we get to experience our freshman year of college.
Right. Yeah.
But it's like one of those things where you know that you shouldn't set expectations. And when we went into our senior year, we didn't expect us thinking that we're going to have a senior ball and walk at graduation were big expectations. We just thought that they were just every high school
everybody gets
expectations.
That. Right.
And now finding out that things can change easily, and even when you don't want them to, you still have to deal with it. So
right.
And that's life, right?
Well, so for each of you guys, what's been something you've loved about being in your home, just your family, and what's been something that's taken a little bit of getting used to, a little thorny, like, ugh, that's tough? What would you say?
I sleep till 12 till 3, and then I get to do my homework, which is nice because, well, I mean, my sleep schedule is a little messed up, but I like online school because I can take as many breaks. I don't have to ask to go to the bathroom.
Right.
I can make myself a full course meal, a full 8-course meal if I wanted to, and eat it during class. And you tell me I can't.
Right.
My mom.
But she's not gonna.
Well, and here's the reason behind that. I know that on Facebook, I was seeing a lot of moms like, I'm waking them up at 7 because or 6 o'clock because that's what we usually do. And I'm like, no,
this isn't usual circumstances.
It's not. And one of the most beautiful things I've seen come out of this is time. Because we might be shut in, but she is reconnecting with her creativity. She doesn't have time for that in usual days. She's going to school. It started at 7:25. She's back at 3, but she's not back at 3. She's got rehearsals or practices or meetings or work. And then she comes home, she sleeps, she does it over again. She does homework also somewhere in there. But now she's done the sleep schedule. I let them sleep as long. One of them did till 4 o'clock. Was that you? Yeah, 4 o'clock one day.
Guilty.
But it's not, don't be guilty. Feel guilty about that. Her body, who gets to have sleep? We do. And so I was letting them kind of resurface. Yes, we got back to the schedule, and they're both up at 9:30, which is fine with me. Yeah. They're done their work by 11, and then they're doing creative things. They're even walking the dog, which never happens.
I don't have time to walk the dog because usually I have school and then I have practice. I'm also in student council and intra-city student council. So that is when you asked what something was that I miss. I miss intra-city student council and my peers because I miss being able to have, it's one thing having conversations with your peers, but when I'm an intra-city student council, it's all the kids from all the different schools in our district.
Yeah, so a bigger pool of kids.
Issues that we were trying to solve, and now those are being pushed back.
Well, you were working on solving them, and things take time, and they'll still be done. You were the foundation of that stuff, and so everything
I'm walking my dog, and I've walked for the past 4 or 5 days. I walked for 3 miles.
She started running?
Yeah, walking/running. And I can't remember the last time I went on a 3-mile walk with my dog.
And so there's time now to reconnect, like we're hanging out. She's cooked meals for our family. She's coming up. We have some friends who are very entrepreneurially minded. And so they had proposed to their kids, in 30 days, I want you to come up with a business that makes money. And let's do that. And she's come up with 2 businesses, maybe 3 actually now. And last night she spent until when I went to bed taking photographs of the things she's going to do. I came up with my own. There's definitely some amazing things that I want us to be able to focus on, because I know it's really not simple, but there's so much drama in our news today. It's not just reporting facts.
Yep.
So we're so going that way, and it feels good for a minute, but then it feels really hopeless.
Yeah.
Right? And so keeping our eye on some of these things, you know, back in the day, I wrote a book about writing letters to our loved ones. And it just, that's part of the foundation of why we are doing the things that we're doing, because we know that in the end game, whenever that might be, we want ourselves to be known by each other.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what we've been doing.
That's amazing. And so, Brookh, so your, what you shared with me is that your like purpose and your passion right now is to be strong for your family, to be this kind of anchor.
Yes.
Which you are. You just can't not be that, by the way. But anyway, so that is what you are in this moment.
Thank you.
And so what I know that we kind of tossed around some tangible ideas that y'all had for, you know, what can help bring a sense of goodness and joyful rhythms to days and just hope in the midst. So the envelope project that you talked about. I'll put that, by the way, in the write-up after it's called the envelope system.
It is. That's my book right here.
Wow, we didn't even plan this. That was Tori. Just boom. Here it is. That was awesome.
This is where I do my videos. So everything is right here, including darling. Everything is as it should be, because I got to remind that to myself all the time.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things, all throughout our marriage, one of the things my husband has always done, I'll look at him and I'll say, what I'll say? I'll say it. And what does he say? You don't? Oh my goodness, that's funny. He says everything.
Oh yeah. He says everything is gonna be okay.
Right.
I actually witnessed it happen a couple days ago.
Yeah, I mean, we need, you know, sometimes people say we teach others how to treat us, but that can be a good thing. And so when I'm just feeling a little, all throughout our marriage, in fact, I asked him to change it recently, but he's gone back to everything is fine, because everything's going to be fine is in the future. And I really want it right now. So, you know, that's just,
Brookh,
I guess, that we've been doing. But so the envelope system I wrote for my friend who was dying, and, you know, he did end up passing, but he had a 13-year-old daughter. And I just remembered, you know, we would cook and clean for them, and it was really busy time, but I would kind of feel nauseous every time we did it, because there was something more. There was a core relationship that was going to be missed there. Because at 13, even at 18, she doesn't know that a lot of the questions to ask, because she's never held her own child in her hands. Yeah. She's never had, well, I guess she's had some bosses to contend with, but there's so much goodness and things that we can talk about. But you know what, sometimes it's hard to talk to our family. Like if we're having a hard time, this is a very strong young lady, and she doesn't always want to be like, Mom, I'm having a hard time. Absolutely. She wants to figure that out and then come and say, I did it. And so we're learning together how to notice each other's cues and be like, hey babe, are you okay? As she walks down the stairs with a tissue in her hand, that's an indication. Right?
Yeah.
But, and so, so for this 13-year-old daughter, I wanted her to have pieces of him that she might not have thought about wanting. So, you know, when was your first kiss? What's your version of how you met Mom? All these things that are, you know, when we find a stack of letters in the top of our, you know, in the attic, it's like, it's newsworthy. Because it's a handwritten thing. I love all the changes. This is their generation. They love online. That's fantastic. But there is some beauty in handwriting something to somebody, even typing it when it's from our heart. So in that book, I categorized different times of a person's life. I didn't know I was writing a book at the time. I thought I was just writing something to help my friend. But if you open up to teenagers, it's like, did you ever steal anything? Did you have a boss you hate? And the idea of it was because, you know, I thought I was going to die. I didn't know that I was going to be able to raise these children that I have. And so I wanted them to know about my life, but I also wanted to impart my wisdom. But she doesn't want that. Right. My wisdom is for me. That's for my awareness and acknowledgement. But hers, I keep going like, well, my day, she's like, Mom, not your day.
Right.
She's really good about that.
I'm getting better at that. I'm getting better because I used to be like, life moment, teaching moment, right?
But
Right.
that people don't like. It's one of those things where you know something, but the thing that you do is the complete opposite,
Gotta learn.
Yes.
which I'm
Yeah.
very guilty of doing in my life.
Oh, and
Of
it's
doing
Any
everybody.
human being.
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So I wanted to develop a way so that I could write letters. Like, so optimally, if she has children,
Mhm.
I would love her to nurse them, right?
Yeah.
Great, healthy, easy, free way. But I'm not going to tell her because even, especially if I'm gone and I'm like, you should nurse your children, there's a lot of judgment in that.
Totally.
So I just wrote a story to her, which was like a half of a page of a letter with a beautiful picture of somebody nursing their child. And I said, when I was holding you, and I told the story about how I just couldn't believe I was holding this baby that came from me. And like, all I wanted to do was keep her nourished and healthy and thriving. And so in telling my story, she gets to read, oh, that nursing thing might not be that bad. Let's try that. Because God
Right.
forbid she can't. I don't want to make her feel guilty for that either.
Totally.
And
Totally.
so I learned through so many people buying this book and different coaches I've had, that was a really great thing to start with them, because the dialogue is in
Mhm.
letters, but it continues on in safety between us and things we
Yeah.
can talk about. So even
I
writing them, that's one of the tips that I was going to share today too, is writing it down, because our brain, just the doctor side of me, always likes to know how things work.
yeah.
And if we're worried about something, not only is it's actually changing our body and how it processes, and it decreases our immune system. We don't want that ever, especially not now. But when you write it, sometimes when we're worried, it's like our brain is boxes, and we need to put things in a place where it feels like it's at home. Worry kind of just doesn't know where to stick itself. But as soon as you write that on a piece of paper, your brain goes, oh, that's a tangible now. Is that even something to worry about? No, it's done. So even in the middle of the night, I used to, when the kids were
Wow.
little, kind of, yeah, it's a powerful tool. And that's why. The amygdala, it's part of your brain. It's that fight and flight part. And it also holds your memories. There's lots of little things on that will be resolved when you write out. But I used to keep a piece of paper and pen, notebook beside my bed, just in case I started to do that worrying thing at night. And I'd just be like, okay, I can worry about that in the morning. I'll write it down. And I would write, need coffee. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Whatever the
And
thing
it would
is.
give me enough
Wow.
to go, okay, I can sleep now, because, a mama without sleep, that's not a good
fun
mama. No. So she knows.
Totally. That is awesome. So stories, writing stories to other people, and then writing your own worries,
Yes.
kind of downloading them and taking them out of the swirl of here and into something. How about you, Tori? What was yours, the bucket list? Make a bucket list idea?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Will
Yeah.
you share what you're thinking on, and how that, and are you doing that,
yeah.
and how you think it
do.
makes it better? Yeah, give us a little bit.
When you make a bucket list, it's usually things you want to do before you die, or things you want to do before you graduate college, or something like that. But one of the things with my mom saying, write the things down, that is something that I've been doing, something that I've shared with my friends, because we can't, as I've said before, I've cried because my senior year is not what I've wanted it to be, but
Yeah.
there's a point where I can cry as much as I want, but it's not going to change anything. And so I can't worry about that. And I can't, sometimes crying does get you where you want to be, but this situation, my crying is not going to make the coronavirus go away.
Right.
So me and my friends have been writing things down that are about this, just because, so that we can start releasing it and start releasing those emotions attached to it. But the bucket list is something that I've started because while I'm in quarantine and can't see my friends and can't see the people I want to be seeing, one of the things that's making me excited for when this is all over is making a bucket list of things that I want to do that with my friends, as soon as the moment is where they're like, you can leave your house, you can be with groups over
Right?
10 people.
And
I'm
some
like,
things she
I'm
never would have
outie.
missed. Like it's not even, didn't seem like
Yeah.
big deal things.
Totally.
Mhm.
Totally.
Yeah. So like a couple
Like what?
things I have, like I want to go to Frosty Tip again.
It's an ice cream place in Door County.
Yeah, it's an ice cream place in Door County.
Yeah.
Really great ice cream. A lot of ice cream for not a lot of money. Really great.
Bonus.
Yeah.
Ice cream.
I want to go cliff jumping at Indoor County.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of a couple things over there. There's just, I want to have bonfires with my friends, and
Yeah.
I've always wanted to take a big sheet, and I have a pool, and I want to sit, like, chill in my pool with all my friends and watch a movie while we're all swimming. Not Jaws, but any other movie. Any other movie is great. So it's just things that I can't do right now, but I'm looking forward to do later.
Well, and as she
awesome.
talks about this, I've just kind of even come up with a thought here. I've been asking when they do go out. My husband is in healthcare, so he's out every day at his practice. My son is in restaurant business, so he's out every day.
Mm-hmm.
So but I said to them, when you see things that have changed, take a photograph of this. Because digitally it's going to save, but who would believe that our grocery stores have plastic barriers over them now?
Yeah.
Who would have thought that those simple things would be on a checklist of things I want to do and that I can't right now? So for me, I will be asking her now, which I never thought about until this moment, to either make a copy or take that copy and fold it and put it in an envelope. That's what the envelope system is. You write these things down, you put it in an envelope, because in 20 years, when she's like dealing with teenagers, she can open it up and go, can you imagine not being able to do these things because you want to? This is what happened in my senior year. Mm-hmm. See, it doesn't have to be complicated. It's just our life stories that can be communicated for powerful observation of others, right?
Yeah.
Nobody's going to have to, she's not going to have to tell her kids how horrible that will be. They'll read the stuff that she wants to do and can't and go, holy moly, that was a thing. Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
Since something that I've kind of, along with like the joking around and like getting me through it, is something that you always like hear about big world disasters and things that have gone on in the world, and how first person sources and all that. And I'm now a first person source. So when my kids are going through school and they're going to be learning about the 2020 pandemic, I'm going to be a person that's going to be, that they can interview and talk to, because I firsthand lived through it. And I think that's something really cool that people are looking over, because it sucks that this is what we're going on, but we're part of something that kids are going to learn about. And someday some little kid is going to be so interested in this and reading everything about it. And one day he's going to meet someone he or she is going to meet someone who lived through it, and they're just going to be amazed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I love that. That's awesome. Okay, Brookh, tell us about the circle of belief.
Yeah. So
brand new to me.
Yeah, well, it's because it's something I kind of created. I used to do a lot of public speaking and teaching. In my practice, I always found that women would be making really strong health decisions. I'm a chiropractor, and so I mostly saw babies, and they would be coming in for this gentle touch that's about this much, and instead of the drugs and surgery, and they would be so mean to themselves. I don't know how to keep this alive. I don't know how to make decisions. And I'm like, you chose this over a lifetime of like surgery. You don't get to go back on surgery. Necessary. Definitely glad we have all that stuff, but sometimes it doesn't have to be the first resort. Sometimes that simple adjustment is all you needed. And so we would be getting incredible results. And my heart went out for these women, because we're getting so much information right now. And not all of it good, not all of it bad. Some kinds of good stuff is called the bad stuff. It's really confusing. And so I wanted to find a way to simply tell people our choices have a repercussion, and the repercussion has an outcome, and that confirms or denies what you're saying. And so what that is, I draw a circle, and on the top of it, I write my belief. So what I always use as an example is like a fever. So if you get a fever and you think one of two things, either a fever is good or a fever is bad. And so those two choices or thought processes will change your choice. So if you think that a fever is a good thing, you'll be like, hey, dude, I'm going to go to sleep right now. I'm going to eat good food. I'm not going to eat sugary, not even fruit juices, because that's going to decrease my immune system. You're going to make all the good choices and you're going to sleep. And then along the time, you're going to be feeling better. You're going to get better. And you'll be like, see, my body took care of me. That was
Wow.
If you go the other way, fever's bad, I got to fight it. You're going a cool, warm bath to decrease it. You'll take something foreign. Your body is naturally going to that fever to kill something, and it knows how hot it needs to be. But in our man-made wisdom, we think we have to fight that. So you'll take the fever medication, you'll feel sicker. It'll take longer because your body's not only going to fight the fever not being there anymore and helping your body, but it's now got to deal with the other things that you put into your body. Timeline is I'm sicker, I'm worse. Good thing I took the medication, or it could have been way worse than that. So we do things, or the beautiful thing is sometimes we make a choice and we're like, wait a minute, that didn't work out right. And we change our thoughts. It's my way of always being able to check in on what decision did I make that caused what outcome. So how can I change that? It's my checking system.
So tell us how, like the circle of belief, like a story in these days of quarantine and of the Corona crisis, and how that has impacted your thinking or actions.
That's a fantastic question. So the fever thing was a good part of it, because we really want to make sure our bodies are fighting for themselves and we're not handicapping them, stopping them from doing it. So COVID, I think that even let's go back to when we were talking about being a rock for our family.
Yeah.
I'm going to put this together with something else, another tip. My husband, Dan, and I have been married for 20 years now. And there's been a lot of times where both of us probably could have walked away. Marriage life is like that. But many years ago, probably 18 years ago, we said to each other, I want to be like old in a rocking chair, just like looking at you. And that's what I want. And so now every time we have a big fight or he does something that pisses me off, his underwear literally on my bathroom floor right now. I'm like,
for example, hypothetically.
This is real.
I'm kidding.
But I'm a clean person and he's like a messy. And so, but I can choose to go like text him, your underwear's on the floor, or I could send him a nasty gram or a picture of his underwear on the floor, which I have actually done to the kids because they're still in the learning process, but this is a grown man. A nasty gram. Yeah. Well, that's what I call it. So, or I can just pick the underwear up and put them in the hamper. And I will probably say, dude, I'm finding your underwear on the floor again. So I can say something, but it doesn't have to be heated.
Yep.
And nasty grammy. That's the beauty of this circle of belief. Because if I believe that I have to be telling that grown man, even the kids, what they have to do all day long, then I'm going to have a reaction to that. I'm going to nasty gram them. It's going to piss him off, ruin his day, have him walk through my door going, ugh, now I got to hear about the underwear again.
Yeah.
And that is the result of my belief, which is that I got to school people and make them do what I want them to do.
Wow.
It's even my demeanor explaining that. It's
wow.
Like,
I feel it.
Yeah, it's a thing. It's such a thing, our attitude and our reaction to things. And so instead I picked the underwear up and I'm talking about them with millions of people.
Yeah, Dan, enjoy this later, dude.
I mean, he knows I talk. I mean, one of my lead stories for professional speaking is a funny story about him and I, which he's aware of. So, but we're pretty public people, but yeah. So look at what your outcome is. That's the best way, is whatever you're not getting right in your life, you look at that because that's your outcome. So what belief led you there? So I hate homeschooling. I hate this COVID thing. I'm stuck in my house. What else are there? I'm never going to get that high school senior thing that I wanted. Yep. You know, that's our belief speaking there. And so what can we change that will change the outcome? So it's always in a question too. Like, so Tori, I've been saying to her, so what's going to come of this? Yeah. Like, so when she goes to I'm not going to get this. I'm not going to get that. What will you get though? Because nobody in the history of anywhere do this, but the seniors right now know that even the things you think are no brainers are not.
Yeah.
These children actually were born at 9/11. 9/11 happened at their birth time. She was born 5 days before 9/11 happened.
When we got into high school is when school shootings started to become
I
popular.
mean,
so we've been through a lot.
This generation of
Wow,
kids.
Tori.
Yeah, well,
It just proves that we're fighters and we can
You are.
get over, we can get through anything.
And life is like this. So it presents. So as soon as we go into a mindset or an action or having, maybe our family is just all it ends and they can't stand each other right now.
Mm-hmm.
What can we do that will help alleviate that? Do I have to point out the underwear? Not today.
Yeah.
Do we have to continue the talk of I'm missing this, I'm missing that? No. We need to honor it. Absolutely. I mean, there's crying going on.
Totally.
There's crying, but then it's, you get a minute with that, but then let's focus on what we really want. That's it. Focus. So when I'm feeling, I'll ask my husband when I'm feeling a little bit, what is this? Because there's so many unanswered questions in this whole thing. And now we're finding out stuff that was done wrong. And it's devastating to think about. So when I'm feeling a little bit uneasy, first, if my husband's around, I'll ask him to remind me everything's okay. It is exactly how it should be. But then I get to use myself, and that's what we're doing now. We're learning to be all alone. It's like never before. We truly just are all alone because nobody has our mind. Nobody has our vision. Nobody has our gifts and our talents and our know-how and our experience. But right now we're being proven that it's okay to be alone because we have the support and love and kindness of our family, but who you are in this moment, in this crisis, not only regulates how your life goes, but for me, with my children in the house, how their life goes and the creativity that can come of that. Right?
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's not a bad thing.
No.
Unless your belief system tells you it is.
Yeah. Wow. That's amazing. Thank you. Well, so I want to talk for a moment too, in the midst of kind of these tangible ways to navigate these days. What you guys each do kind of for soul care. Here I talk a lot, I call them places of pause and moments to be still in the storm, to find that quiet, calm and center. So Tori, for you, what's an example, a story, just a real life story of what you have done in the midst of these moments of tears or moments of hard news? How are you making your way and caring for your soul?
Well, one of the things that I have a best friend, and one of the things we do even before, since 6th grade, before competitions, when one of us just needs a pick-me-up, is we have a little song that actually she painted on a picture for me, all of the lyrics to it, so I keep that in my room.
Aww.
But she's just short enough where I can put my head on top of hers, and it's just like a little nook right there. So we just hug each other and we sing this little song. We sing a song to each other, and that's just a moment where we're just connecting. We know everything's going to be okay. We know that no matter what's going on, no matter what happens, that we have each other's back, that we're there for each other. So
when you got the news about school, did you guys do the song like via FaceTime or anything?
Not via FaceTime. We text it to each other. So we'll like take turns texting every other line.
Yeah.
Okay, what are the lyrics, and either sing it or speak it?
It's "You're my honey bun, sugar plum, pumpy umpy umpkin. You're my sweetie pie. You're my You gotta sing it. It's so much better sung. It's just a silly. We sing it in weird voices though. Do it.
Do the weird voice. Come on.
Here, cover yourself with this. Be brave. Okay, we go. You're my honey bun, sugar plum, pumpy umpy umpkin. You're my sweetie pie. You're my cupcake gumdrop. Stick 'em, stick 'em, stick 'em. The apple of my eye.
And I love you so, and I want you to know that I'll always be right here. And then it has a little end, but then we change it because then we stop and we look at each other and we go, I love you so, dear. And then we go.
Yay! My gosh.
It's a lot sadder when you're crying and holding each other doing it, but it makes us happy by the end. By the end of there's no way you can be sad or mad and say schnookum, schnookum, schnookum.
Right.
So
be you, find your way. Yeah.
And you're with someone.
Yeah.
You know, you're not doing it by yourself.
Social distancing together.
Yeah.
Social distancing together. Yeah. So Brookh, how about you? What you have so many practices, I know, in your life. But what's something that you love to do that really brings you peace, calm, quiet?
I'm going to show you what I'm doing.
Okay.
So part of my piece is expression through art, but I'm also an avid recycle reuser. So I've been making these little,
wow,
it's falling off, little
Everything
paper
there is
things.
recycled.
Everything there is recycled. Everything. And trees, I've been making things. So they're just, the crafts when you take a piece of tissue paper around a pencil and you pop it in, that's newspapers. And so I've been really reconnecting. I'm not in practice anymore. I chose to be a public speaker and professional speaker, I guess. And so I don't go to my practice anymore. But my practice has become what I wanted to make into my new business. You know, when we were talking about multiple streams of income and the 30-day thing, that's what I started doing. It keeps my hands busy. It keeps me centered. That's been my really major thing. Yeah. I've been making paper beads. I mean, just reconnecting with that quality about myself that can just do nothing.
Wow.
Yeah. And still create something beautiful. So, yeah.
And how about tapping? I know that's a big part of your kind of body, mind, spirit care.
Changed my life.
Can you educate us? And is there something that folks can do today?
Yeah.
You know, to practice this? And
well, tapping is such an easy thing. I talked before about the amygdala and how it is a center of our body that in our brain that holds experiences and emotions and things. So it houses our fight and flight, but it also carries how we feel about that. So, you know, if I were a hitter and I went to hit Tori, she'd be like this. Well, that creates a whole thing, right?
Yeah.
But even if I just did this, be like, haha, she would still get that whole reaction unless she had processed through that. Well, I had a lot of not hitting, but different emotional process that I was running over and over again. And it was hurting my parenting, hurting my whole life, honestly, but I wanted to change it because I didn't want to repeat patterns on my children. And so this tapping, you know, it's as simple as coming up with what's the worst thing in the world that could happen, because it is a truth that we believe that somewhere in us, you know, like I'm scared of dying from this COVID-19 maybe is a thing. As soon as we say that, a part of us goes, I don't even believe that's going to happen, but part of us does. And that's the part that's going to run some of those belief systems. This is all tied together. So when we can take our body, see, with these meridians, it's the ancient meridians that the Chinese have been using 5,000 years plus. It's just different nerve endings. And so you tap at these different places, and I'm doing them now. And you just tap on these places saying, I could die of COVID, or, you know, my family members could, or can I just ask if our dog's having a nutso attack? You know, you press on those areas, and then all of a sudden you realize you can't say that negativity anymore. You know, like, I'm going to die. My parents are going to die. It's going to be terrible. I'm going to not be able to breathe. You know, you go through these things that you're scared of, and all of a sudden you just can't say it anymore. And you're like, but what if there's a different way? What if I could like stay in home and maybe I could eat good food and have some zinc and, you know, walk, and, you know, you come up with these, it starts to turn your brain into a tool of what else could happen instead of this, because you get sick and tired of the negativity, and it's within you. So I would definitely, I don't know if you have time right now, but just Google tapping. Nick Ortner, Ortner, is the kind of person who really brought this to the forefront. He does a lot with Hay House and stuff, but he and his sister do a lot of different tapping sequences, and I feel sure that they've done one from COVID. I mean, even if I'm driving and I'm going in to see a patient, because sometimes I, still do, and or whatever I'm doing, about to speak, if I feel nervous about something, I'll just start tapping. Sometimes you see.
So you tap and you initially start with what you're nervous about, kind of allowing your brain to just, and your heart to just pour all that stuff out. And then you just see it or hope for it to, or watch it shift, and you keep tapping as you're doing it.
It's a shift. Yeah.
Wow.
When I first discovered this, it changed my life so completely that I started working with people. One mother brought her child in who's 16 and had attempted suicide. And then I had like a practice filled until I realized I love helping, but this is not really what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And so, when we have unresolved issues, one of the best ones is easy story to tell. A kid came in, actually that was the kid. He didn't feel like he fit into the world anywhere. His parents had been divorced early, and they both remarried really quickly, and they both had new kids really quickly. And so he didn't belong anywhere, he felt. And so then he attracted girls, he's a teenager, who would not really care about him, kind of dump him, screw around on him. And of course, that's devastating to anybody. Maybe just let her out, babe. And so, so she's a real social dog, and she can hear that we're talking, so she thinks she should be there. But anyway, so he had never thought about it, but I didn't tell him this. I would not have known that was on his heart, but he had to connect with what was the worst thing that could happen, that his parents would die and he'd never have a relationship with them. Oh, well, tell me more about that. So today I'm asking everybody here that's listening to, if you've got something going on in your mind, ask some questions like, what's that really about? What more is there to that? How is that affecting my life? And then you'll find out this core thing. Sometimes it's something you never even, like the underwear. If I was talking about the underwear, because I might have in the past, because that used to stress me out. Like I like a tidy, clean house. So I would have been like, even though my husband is a messy, even though I feel like we should have a clean house, I would go through that. It sounds so stupid. Like to say it now feels so superficial.
Yeah.
But when we've got other things going on in our life, sometimes these things weigh heavy.
Absolutely.
So, they'll teach you this karate chop. You say 3 different ways of saying the same thing that's bothering you. Do you want me to just kind of do it now?
Yeah.
Do you want to? Okay. Do you want to pick a topic?
I think, how about worried about my kids?
And with the COVID thing?
Yeah.
Okay. So for example, do you mind if I ask you the questions, or do you want me to go kind of generic here?
Whatever you think will be the best.
I'm going to go generic just because of time.
Okay.
So let's come up with some things though that we're worried about. So in specific, what are you worried about with your children?
So what I hear people saying is, they're worried about that their education's gonna, this whole year is gonna be shot, or worried about them being depressed and feeling isolated and alone and like emotionally damaged from this time. Worried about, as a parent, not being able to provide the homeschool. Like I've seen a lot of memes actually, Tori, about parents saying like, I'm not a teacher. I'm not a homeschool parent. I don't know how to help my kids. Like, so worried about how to support the kids in, their academic homeschool reality. So there's 3.
And so I just came up with, this is, just randomly off the top of your head. So you can see how many things are going through our minds right now. Right. I'm glad instead that I asked you, because this is really important. So we're going to start with, it's called the karate chop, and it's just the back side of your hand right here. And you're going to hit it so that, can you hear that? Yeah. So we're going to say, even though, okay? So just repeat after me, and Tori will do it with us. So even though I'm worried about my children.
Even though I'm worried about my children.
I love and accept myself.
I love and accept myself.
And I'm going to close my eyes, because if I see, I I'm interfered with. Even though my kids' lives can be completely wrecked forever because of this.
Even though my kids' lives can be completely wrecked forever.
I love and accept myself.
I love and accept myself.
Even though nothing will ever be the same and it might not be good.
Even though nothing will ever be the same and it might not be good.
My children might be emotionally damaged.
My children might be emotionally damaged.
I might never figure out how to do this and be a leader.
I might not never figure out how to do this and be a leader.
My kids might be depressed.
My kids might be depressed.
They might feel isolated and alone.
They might feel isolated and alone.
I love and accept myself.
I love and accept myself.
Now we're going to go to the top of the head and just follow along with me and repeat the words. Worried.
Worried.
Side of the eyes. Worried.
Worried.
Under the eyes. Their education might be shot.
Education might be shot.
Under the nose. They might be devastated.
They might be devastated.
Under the mouth. Isolated.
They might be isolated.
On the inside of your collarbone. Totally alone.
Totally alone.
And around the side of your body, just like where your bra is, kind of thing. I might never figure this out.
I might never figure this out.
I'm worried.
I'm worried.
I'm not sure if we're going to make this thing okay.
I'm not sure if we're going to make this thing okay.
It's not even about the virus.
It's not even about the virus.
It's about all the things that are coming around because of that.
It's about all the things coming around because of that.
I'm scared for my kids.
I'm scared for my kids.
I'm scared for me.
I'm scared for me.
I just don't know what to do about all of this.
I don't know what to do about all this.
And I feel like sometimes I have a level of control.
And I feel like I have a level of control.
Where I have no control over any of this.
No control over any of this.
Most of me doesn't even know why I'm confined to my house.
Most of me doesn't know why I'm confined to this house.
I'm running out of ideas.
Running out of ideas.
I'm running out of patience.
Running out of patience.
I'm running out of kindness.
Running out of kindness.
And I'm really scared for me and my family.
I'm really scared for me and my family.
If I'm honest, I'm really scared for the world.
I'm scared for the world.
Because these are changing times.
Because these are changing times.
And I don't know what to do.
And I don't know what to do.
Take a deep breath in. Take another deep breath in. But what if there's a different way?
What if there's a different way?
Just follow along with my tapping as I talk for just a second. Did you feel a shift already in there? So we went through all the negativity and the things that we're thinking about. And all of a sudden I was like, there's a different way. Did you feel that? Or should I go on a little more? You did. Okay, good.
I did.
Top of the head. I am worried.
I am worried.
There is concern to be had.
There's concern to be had.
I'm an awake individual.
I'm an awake individual.
And so when things don't make sense, I should be alerted to that.
When things don't make sense, I should be alerted.
So there's another way to go about this. I can spend my time doing something different.
I can spend my time.
Maybe I don't even know what that is right now. Or maybe I do. This worry. Repeat after me. This fear that my education of my children might be impaired forever.
This fear that the education of my children might be impaired forever.
This depression.
This depression.
This isolation.
This isolation.
Emotionally damaging my children.
Emotionally damaging my children.
Losing my patience.
Losing my patience.
Losing my clarity.
Losing my clarity.
Is not the full reality.
Is not the full reality.
And I love and accept myself.
I love and accept myself.
Kindness.
Kindness.
Compassion.
Compassion.
Understanding.
Understanding.
The ability to walk away.
The ability to walk away.
The ability to be fruitful in new understanding.
Ability to be fruitful and new understanding.
The ability to be creative.
The ability
to be creative.
Not so embarrassed about singing in front of people.
Not embarrassed.
Share my goodness. Whatever my thing is.
Whatever my thing is.
I'm free to let that fly.
I'm free to let that fly.
I welcome these moments of clarity.
I welcome these moments of clarity.
I love myself in times of hardship.
I love myself in times of hardship.
Even though I don't have the answers.
Even though I don't have the answers.
I am powerful in my decisions.
I'm powerful in my decisions.
And I can learn from everything I've done.
I can learn from everything I've done.
And watch others for other ways to do it.
And watch others for their ways to do it.
I bet it was in me all along.
I bet it was in me all along.
I am powerful.
I am powerful.
I am great.
I am great.
I am capable.
I am capable.
I am.
I am.
I am goodness.
I am goodness.
I'm full.
I am full.
I'm ready.
I am ready.
I love and accept myself.
I love and accept myself.
And just put your arm down, take a nice deep cleansing breath. Pick up the residue of yuck and blow that out somewhere. Take another nice cleansing breath, deep in, all the way to the bottom of your stomach. Pull out the residue of yuck, blow that out. And find your center again. That's tapping.
Wow. Thank you.
You're welcome. And you can see, with a short time, I usually ask people what they're good, what do they want to feel, the good words, the kindness, what else they used. But if you use your own words in this tapping, it helps you to even more deeply connect with how you can release that. Because what we've been taught in our amygdala is that we don't have the answers. You're not smart enough to make good choices, healthcare, life.
Yeah.
And so we're reacting because of what we've learned. But is that true? Like my 18-year-old survived. I raised her. She's going to be okay. So please take a moment to look at the truth, not just what you're worried about, because you do know what you're doing. You have good answers. You've got great resources. We really do have a lot of power in this.
Wow. I'm so glad that we did it. And like you said, and didn't just talk about it. And I just have this vision for me of doing this with my kids. I'm so thankful. I've never done that before.
Oh, good. Oh, and it's so easy.
Thank you.
Anywhere.
Yeah.
A lot of speakers will just, if they see that their crowd is not really paying attention or they're losing them because it's heavy matter, they'll just say, everybody tap on the front of their head. It's not on top. It's not in the middle. It's just wherever, because it kind of just refocuses. So just use that.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. So we want to take a moment before we end, just to loop in to everyone who's watching on us live and a part of this conversation live, which is beautiful because then we're all kind of virtually together.
Yes.
And also those that are watching on the replay, and just bask for a moment in the wonder of how we can be inventive in our connection right now. Talk about creativity, right? Learning things together, sharing wisdom that's going to make life better for so many people. Dr. Brookh, thank you for that. And Tori, for you to share your incredibly big-hearted, wholehearted, brave, courageous perspective has been amazing. And so we want to invite those of you who are watching to take one thing, a practice or a story that you heard Dr. Brookh and Tori share, and find a place in you that you want to plant that seed, that you want that seed to grow into your life. Because inspiration is awesome,
right?
But we want to invite this sense of like inspired action. What is it that you want to take from these wholehearted, brave, inspiring sisters into your life. And you know, maybe it's what Tori said, is allowing yourself a good cry, to walk down the stairs with a tissue in your hands. I mean, some people haven't allowed that. That takes courage.
Yeah.
And so please share that intention with one live person. Text someone after this, do a FaceTime call, and just share what's percolating while it's kind of hot off the press.
Yeah,
You know?
that's a great idea.
Yeah, and comment below if you're watching in a medium that allows that, because we will be continuing to follow the comments and the ripples of stories and your story, because we hope for this to be a conversation that has some wings to it and flies off into all kinds of dark corners of the world.
Absolutely.
So I would love for you guys, before we wrap up, each of you to share in 1 minute, just one last word, something that's on your mind, on your heart, that you want to share before we wrap up and everyone goes into their homes and places of work and into the rest of their day. So what do you want to leave us with?
I just want to thank you, Sarah, for bringing us together today, because I no longer have that platform where I'm speaking and going out and doing that stuff. So to be able to share some of these simple tools for an outstanding life is really meaningful to me, because, you know, sometimes we look at people and think, why are they so successful? Why are they doing things that are working? And sometimes it's, you know, just some simple tools and acknowledging that life is not going to be perfect. And so thank you for bringing us on to be able to share, you know, what we've learned together in this journey of life. Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome
for having us. I don't know. I just want to remind people that this is just a part in our story now, that
good stuff.
We can't just keep on rereading one chapter, that we have to realize that there's more chapters to come, and that there's other chapters that need our attention too. So
yeah.
Holy goosebumps. That's amazing.
Right? Yes.
Thank you, the two of you,
Thank you.
for sharing so just all of yourselves with us. And I feel lighter, and just I hope that many people here and see are able to witness and be a part of just the incredible people that you guys are. So thank you, and blessings on your day.
Thank you.
Blessings. And we just want to collectively remind all of you who are watching that you are so loved, that you so belong, and that may we commit and warrior up and say we belong to each other, and stand tall and light up the world together today and the next and the next. So love all of you guys, and until next time, bye.
Bye.